Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
We go back to April 6, 1952, an episode of the Signal Oil program The Whistler, broadcast on the west coast of the United States. This episode entitled Element X.
Signal, the famous Go Farther gasoline, invites you to sit back and enjoy another strange story by The Whistler.
I am the Whistler, and I know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. Yes, I know the nameless terrors of which they dare not speak.
And now for the Signal Oil Company, The Whistler's strange story, Element X.
An interesting and sometimes dangerous part of living is the unexpected, the oddity of chance, circumstances beyond our control. It was chance that brought Grant Forbes out of a downtown building at almost the same time that his friend Lieutenant Driscoll of Homicide was passing by. Yes, Grant, chance brought you two together that day, didn't it? And as the two of you continued along the sidewalk, neither of you had any thought of the sudden violent action that was to burst forth as you rounded a certain street corner. But as you did so...
Help, bro, shoot!
What is it? Get back, Grant. Back against the wall. Come on. Get over here.
All right.
It's a robbery. Looks like one of our patrolmen winged somebody. All right, keep back, folks. Get back. Give the officer a chance. What's it all about, officer?
Huh? Oh, Lieutenant Driscoll. Hold up, sir.
And somebody called you in time?
Nope, nobody called me. Funny thing, I didn't even realize what was going on. Just happened to wander into Mr. Reynolds' store to get some cigarettes. This guy turns up, starts to run out, and Reynolds yells.
We heard the rest. Good work, officer.
Oh, nothing to it, Lieutenant. It just happened.
You know, it's a funny thing, Grant.
What's that?
I don't know if it happens in your law cases, but the way that hold-up artist got caught, I call it Element X.
How do you mean?
Element X, the unexpected, the surprise.
Like the way that cop walked in on it.
Exactly. Or sometimes maybe it's a woman who happens to be looking out the window, talking to a neighbor. She gets a look at a license plate and notices the color of a car. And... yeah, I'd rather be on this side of the law.
Oh, I don't know, Lieutenant. Element X can be taken care of, figured out. These hoods ought to consult a good lawyer first.
Instead of later, huh?
Yeah.
No, Grant, I've seen it too often. You can't beat the unpredictable. It's what I always look for in a case. Here's my car. Drop you someplace, counselor?
Counselor? That's a laugh. I haven't counseled 3 people in the last month.
Come on, hop in.
No, thanks, Lieutenant. Maybe that wounded guy back there is a possible client.
Oh, cut it out, Grant. Things aren't that bad. Anyway, we got him nailed.
Yeah, I suppose. Okay, Lieutenant. I'll let you drop me off at my so-called office.
Good.
You know, you may be right about your Element X at that.
Now what?
I wasn't expecting a ride.
Okay, have your fun. But I still say there's a lot to it.
It was many weeks after you talked to your friend, Lieutenant Driscoll, wasn't it, Grant? Yes, and they were weeks that seemed like months. And then came that phone call that was to make so much difference.
What was that name again?
Markham. Floyd Markham. I'd like for you to drop out here to Malibu, Mr. Forbes. Discuss a certain domestic matter.
You won't be in town the next few days, Mr. Markham?
Look, Forbes, if you'd prefer that I contact another attorney...
Oh, no. I'll be there. Malibu, you say?
That's right. You know the turnoff just past Sunset?
Yes, I do.
My place is all by itself, just past that Signal Oil station, on the beachfront. Red cottage, flagstone front. It's called Surfside. You'll be here?
I'll be there.
Tonight, please. 10 sharp.
Tonight, 10 sharp. Check.
You've little choice, have you, Grant? Too few of your clients believe in paying their bills on time. And Floyd Markham sounds like a man with a problem and a man with money. That night, you're right on time and approaching his secluded cottage on the waterfront. When you see someone slipping out of a side door, a woman, you step back in the shadows as she runs past you to a parked car. Then you hurry into the cottage.
Lydia! Mr. Markham!
Lydia, please. What have you done? Lydia.
Mr. Markham.
Lydia. Lydia.
You know at a glance that the man at your feet is through, don't you, Grant? You stoop down quickly and beside him, rummage through his wallet as he continues to mumble dazedly. His identification tells you for certain that he's Floyd Markham, the man who sent for you. And you're afraid it's too late to find out why. But there is something you must know, isn't there? Yes, because you've certainly walked into something. You lean very close to Markham, call in his ear.
Mr. Markham, who was it? Who is Lydia?
Lydia. My wife.
Your wife? Lydia Markham, she shot you. Ran out of here.
Yes. Lydia.
Mr. Markham. Mr. Markham. So long, Mr. Markham. You know, I just might show your little Lydia how to get around Element X.
April 6, 1952, The Whistler on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of The Whistler, April 6, 1952.
Well, Grant, your visit to the Malibu cottage of Floyd Markham, the way you walked in on his murder, was right along the lines of your friend Lieutenant Driscoll's theories about Element X, the unforeseen. The surprise that so often goes against criminals, murderers. It would go very badly now for Lydia Markham, too, wouldn't it? If you decided to play on the side of the lieutenant. But you haven't decided it that way, have you? No. Instead, you let a week go by. A week of watching the newspapers to see what the police know. A week in which Floyd Markham's funeral takes place, with his wife putting in an appearance as a grief-stricken, confused widow. And then you decide to pay a call on Lydia Markham. You look up the address, a fashionable Los Angeles apartment. You stand calmly at the door, wait until Lydia herself appears in answer to the buzzer.
Yes?
Mrs. Markham?
Yes?
I would like to talk to you on behalf of a client of mine. Oh, my card.
Grant Forbes, counselor at law.
Permit me to explain, Mrs. Markham. My client was a witness to a sort of an accident. A shooting, I believe.
Ralph! Ralph!
What's the matter, hon? Who's this?
A Mr. Forbes.
Grant Forbes, counselor at law.
Ralph, I think we should talk to him.
All right, we'll talk to him. Come in, Mr. Forbes.
Thank you.
I'm Ralph Leonard. You should know, too, that Mrs. Markham has undergone a strain. You see, her husband...
I know about the late Mr. Markham.
Oh? Well, look, what is this? A bad debt pitch or something? I've heard about this sort of thing when a man dies.
I would prefer to talk to Mrs. Markham in private, if it's agreeable.
No. No, it isn't agreeable. Ralph, Mr. Leonard was my husband's closest friend. You can say whatever you have to say to both of us, you understand?
Yes, I do understand. However, under the circumstances, Mrs. Markham...
Get to the point, Forbes.
You're quite certain, Mrs. Markham, that under no matter what the situation might be, you don't mind, Mr. Leonard?
She's quite certain.
I'm asking Mrs. Markham.
Really, Mr. Forbes, this all seems, well, most unusual, to say the least.
It is. Most unusual, to say the least. Well?
Whatever you have to say, Ralph can hear it, too.
All right. Mrs. Markham, Mr. Leonard, my client, who must at the moment be nameless, he observed some interesting things on a certain night about 10 days ago. More specifically, it was the night that Mr. Markham...
Ralph, what's he telling us?
The night that Mr. Markham, how did the newspapers phrase it? Oh, yes. Died at the hands of a person or persons unknown.
Your client, counselor, he thinks this should have been phrased differently?
He would only change the one word, unknown.
Uh-huh.
Ralph.
Take it easy, Lydia. Okay, counselor.
Okay? You mean that if my client should require a slight fee for his silence?
I mean, get out of here.
Oh, you're making a mistake, Mr. Leonard.
You're making a mistake if you don't get out. You haven't any client. You're just a cheap, low shyster.
Lower than a murderess, Mr. Leonard?
Supposing I told you there's a half a dozen witnesses who'd swear your client was wrong, lying.
Money buys many things, Mr. Leonard. In Mrs. Markham's interests, I would say it might be less expensive to buy one closed mouth rather than 6 perjured ones.
I'll decide what's best for Mrs. Markham's interest.
Very well. My client won't like this, however.
Good day, counselor.
Perhaps the last good day for Mrs. Markham. Oh, relax, Mr. Leonard. I'm going.
You walk out of the apartment, Grant. You're not sure, are you? Not sure how stubborn Ralph Leonard intends to be. And then, as you're waiting for the elevator to take you down...
Mr. Forbes.
Oh, Mrs. Markham.
I slipped out the service door. I haven't much time. Only please tell your client that, well, to wait a few days.
To wait a few days?
I'll arrange something. I mean about the fee.
Oh, yes. You have my card, Mrs. Markham. I'll hear from you soon.
Very soon. I promise.
Mrs. Markham.
Yes?
If this is a stall, something to get me off guard while your dear friend Ralph figures out how to get me out of the way...
Oh, no, I give you my word. He doesn't even know I'm out here. Now, please, Mr. Forbes, trust me.
Oh, I'm the trusting sort, Mrs. Markham. Very much so. All right. I'll give you what you ask. A few days.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good day, Mrs. Markham. I'll be looking forward to making any reasonable settlement for my client.
Riding down in the elevator, you feel better about it, don't you, Grant? Ralph Leonard is a little on the rough side and rather impulsive. You find out exactly how impulsive early that evening as you park your car and start down the street toward your apartment. The shot spatter into the building wall beside you. You fall quickly to the ground. As you look up, a car with Ralph Leonard at the wheel swerves wildly around the corner. And as you get to your feet, you realize grimly that Ralph Leonard has decided to make certain of your silence, however drastic his method. You're afraid to return to your office, and you decide it would be unwise to stay overnight in your own apartment.
Room, sir?
Yes, for just a couple of days.
$3, sir. Did you sign?
Yes.
Tom Anderson. Uh-huh. Your key, Mr. Anderson. Room 406.
Thanks.
It's all you can do for the present, isn't it, Grant? Hide in a cheap hotel room under the name of Tom Anderson while you think things out. Ralph Leonard is a problem, isn't he? A serious one. He's out to kill you to protect Lydia Markham, and perhaps her money as well. But the following day, you hit upon a neat and simple plan for eliminating Ralph without risk to yourself. You're unaware, of course, as you go about locating Ralph Leonard's telephone number, that at a point some 200 miles upstate, Element X is starting on its way toward you.
Hello?
Mr. Leonard?
Yes, who is this?
This is your friend, the counselor, remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember.
I'd like to make a deal, Mr. Leonard.
Look, I told you we're
A
not
deal
interested.
between us. I'm talking about a partnership.
A partnership?
Right. You play ball with me, and we can make ourselves a little money.
Go on, counselor. You interest me.
Mrs. Markham need never know your part in it,
Want me to make things easy for you, is that it?
and we split the profits. Well,
Now, look, I told you as far as I was concerned...
yes.
Suppose we get together and sort of talk this over, huh?
Fine. I'll pick the spot. Call you back later.
Good, good. I'll be here at my apartment, counselor.
You smile, don't you, Grant, as you hang up the receiver? You know what Ralph Leonard is thinking, what he's planning. Because he believes you're stupid enough to meet him at a quiet rendezvous where he can do his talking with a gun. You hurry out of the hotel room, get into your car, and drive to Lydia Markham's apartment.
Oh, it's you.
May I come in, Mrs. Markham?
All right. I asked you to give me a few more days.
I know, but I suddenly discovered I have some rather pressing financial obligations to meet, and
You or your client, Mr. Forbes?
Oh, come, Mrs. Markham. Surely you must have guessed your friend Ralph did.
Yes.
Aren't you going to ask me to sit down?
Oh, of course. And allow me to serve cocktails.
Thanks, no. Bit too early in the day yet. Now, as I was saying...
You're pressed financially.
I am indeed, Mrs. Markham. A few thousand would tide me over for a while.
A few thousand?
You're surprised? Yes, that's all. For the time being, at least.
Oh, I see.
You needn't mention it to Mr. Leonard.
No, I won't. But, well, I don't have the money here now. Can you come back tonight?
If you don't mind, I'd rather we met somewhere else.
Mr. Leonard won't be here.
I'd rather we met elsewhere.
All right.
I'll phone you later. Tell you where.
I see. Well, now, if there's nothing further...
There is.
Oh?
I think I will have that martini after all.
You've completed the second step of your plan, haven't you, Grant? Yes. And now you must select the scene of the crime. After you leave Mrs. Markham's apartment, you drive back downtown. And only a few blocks from your hotel, you find the perfect setup. A dark, quiet street in the factory and warehouse district. Still unaware that Element X, moving relentlessly toward you, is now less than 50 miles away. A few minutes before 9, you step into a phone booth in a drugstore across the street from Ralph Leonard's apartment.
Yes, counselor. I was wondering when you'd call.
Still interested in talking business, Mr. Leonard?
Of course I am.
Good. Suppose we meet on the southeast corner of 17th and Shannon, warehouse district. Know where it is?
I'll find it, counselor.
There's a building entrance about 15 feet south. Wait for me in there.
I'll leave right away.
Hello?
This is Grant Forbes, Mrs. Markham.
Oh. I have the money. 3,000.
I'm afraid that's not enough.
What? But you said...
I know. That was this afternoon. Now I need 10 grand.
10,000?
That's right.
But where can I get that kind of money at this time of night? Be reasonable.
You look, you've got jewelry.
Well, yes, but
That'll do till tomorrow.
tomorrow.
When your bank opens, you can get me the rest of the 10,000. You might as well get used to this. Yours was a very expensive murder, baby.
Yes, wasn't it?
Wasn't it? April 6, 1952, The Whistler. The conclusion next on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, following these important messages from your favorite radio station. Just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Mike Lindell and MyPillow launching the MyPillow 2.0. Now, when Mike invented MyPillow, it had everything you could want in a pillow. Now, nearly 20 years later, he's discovered a new technology that makes MyPillow even better. Of course, the patented adjustable fill of the original MyPillow, but now with brand new fabric with a temperature-regulating thread, it's the softest, smoothest, and coolest pillow you'll ever own. Say goodbye to tossing and turning and flipping your pillow over in the middle of the night. And more great news on the MyPillow 2.0 buy one, get one free offer with my promo code Wyatt. MyPillow 2.0 is 100% made in the USA, 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio podcast square to receive the MyPillow 2.0 buy one, get one free offer. Use my promo code Wyatt or call 1-800-928-4715. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station. Now the conclusion of The Whistler, Element X, April 6, 1952.
Oh, and if you're thinking of calling your boyfriend, Mr. Leonard, when I hang up, don't bother. He just left his apartment building.
You think of everything, don't you?
I do. He thinks he's got a date to meet me. While he's waiting up in Hollywood for me to show, you'll be meeting me somewhere else.
Oh, please listen to me. Give me a break.
I'm sorry.
But please.
Save it, sweetheart. Meet me in half an hour, or I'll write a little letter to the police.
No, don't do that.
Half hour. That's all you have. I'll be waiting at the southeast corner of 17th and Shannon. There's a building entrance about 15 feet south of the corner. I'll be standing in there.
You've played the part perfectly, haven't you, Gran? Yes, and the trap is set. Mrs. Markham is desperate now, isn't she? Yes, she's killed before, and you're certain you've driven her to the point where she'll kill again. You hurry to your car, start toward the scene of the rendezvous. While only a few miles away now, Element X is moving toward 17th and Shannon. But you've forgotten all about Element X, haven't you, Ralph? 20 minutes later, you park your car down the block, move along the darkened street swiftly. Move as close to the corner as you dare. See Ralph Leonard standing in the shadows of the building entrance. You turn back now, ease down the street, and turn into a small bar a few doors away.
Howdy.
Evening.
What'll it be?
Let's see. Scotch and soda, I guess.
Right.
Things sort of quiet around here, aren't they?
Yep. Not much doing this time of night.
Uh-huh. Why stay open?
Oh, business picks up later, when the shift from the factories get off. A lot of the boys come in for a beer.
Oh, I see.
Here you are, sir.
Thanks. Have one on me?
Well, okay, don't mind if I do. Beer's my drink. Well, here's cheers.
To success.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, what's that?
Sounded like shots to me.
It sure did. I'd say we'd better have a look, huh?
Lieutenant Driscoll from Homicide stood quietly in front of the entrance to a building some 15 feet south of 17th and Shannon, making notes in a small black book. And from time to time, he glanced down at the bullet-riddled body of Ralph Leonard. A short distance down the block, a police car was parked near a large truck and trailer. The squad car sergeant finished his questioning of the truck driver and came slowly to the spot where Lieutenant Driscoll was standing.
You get a statement from the truck driver, Sergeant?
Yeah, Lieutenant. According to him, he was barreling down the street at a pretty good clip when suddenly a woman driving a green sedan whipped around the corner and started pumping shots at this man Leonard, standing in this entryway here.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
One of the bullets went wild, hit the front truck tire, and there was a blowout.
The truck went out of control. Crashed into the front of that barn.
Mm-hmm. Truck hit a guy as he was coming out. Just missed the bartender.
Another guy hurt bad?
He died just a few minutes ago. Name's Forbes, Grant Forbes.
Grant Forbes? The attorney?
That's what his card says. Did you know him, Lieutenant?
Yeah. Yeah, I know him. Did Grant say anything before he died?
Plenty. Told me who was driving that green car and who fired those shots. Mrs. Lydia Markham.
Element X.
Element X? Huh, that's what Forbes said before he died. That's what he called the truck. Element X. What do you suppose he meant by that?
It was sort of a theory, Sergeant, between us. Now it's a dead secret.
Let that whistle be your signal for the Signal Oil program, The Whistler, each Sunday night at the same time. Meantime, Signal Oil Company and the friendly independent dealers who help you go farther with Signal gasoline hope you'll remember. Regardless of what gasoline you use, you'll enjoy more miles of happy driving if you drive at sensible speeds, obey traffic regulations, and avoid taking chances. You may even save a life, possibly your own. Featured in tonight's story were Ted Osborne, Joe Gilbert, Eddie Marr, Tom Tully, Jack Moyles, and Britt Wood, with Marvin Miller standing in for Bill Foreman as the Whistler. The Whistler was produced and directed by George W. Allen, with story by Adrian Jean Doe, music by Wilbur Hatch, and was transmitted overseas by the Armed Forces Radio Service. The Whistler is entirely fictional, and all characters portrayed on The Whistler are also fictional. Any similarity of names or resemblance to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
April 6, 1952, The Whistler on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Once again, we thank Ted at RadioMemories.com, who provides some wonderful shows. And can I not say enough nice about Ted, how kind he has been to us, and how many great shows you can find there, and the best fidelity possible, cassette, CD, or flash drive on your computer, RadioMemories.com. Yeah, you can download them, but they're not going to sound this good. Anyway, Ted provided us the entire run of Lum and Abner that's out there. And this episode was from April 6th, 1942. And these are basically plugs, direct plugs, relating to the premiere of their 1942 motion picture, The Bashful Bachelor. And let's listen to what Lum and Abner are doing, trying to get everything prepared for that premiere.
Let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, the main topic of conversation in Pine Ridge is the premiere of Lum and Abner's picture, which is to be held in the schoolhouse Friday night. A projection machine has been ordered from the county seat, and Lum is busy appointing committees to handle all the arrangements for the big event. As we look in on the little community, we find Lum in the Jot 'em Down store and library. He's making a phone call. Listen.
Oh, is that you, Sister Simpson? Well, this is Lum Edwards, moving picture star talking. Ma? Oh, no, it don't feel no difference being a celebrity. Of course, you know me. I wouldn't let something like this affect me none. I'm going right ahead on speaking to all my friends just the same as usual, just like I weren't no better than they was. Uh-huh.
Well, morning, Lum. Oh, excuse me, I never seen you on the phone.
Just a minute, Abner. Mom? Oh, well, what I called you up for was to appoint you head of the committee to decorate the schoolhouse for the premiere of our picture Friday night, The Bashful Bachelor. Oh, you already figured on that?
Why, of course, she always does the decorating for everything.
Yeah, that ought to look nice. Uh-huh. Yes, Mom.
No telling what she's planning on.
Well, either red or blue will be fine. Uh-huh. Red's fine with me.
Yeah, that's my favorite color, red.
All right, make it blue then.
Oh.
Well, either one's all right. Uh-huh. Yes, Mom. Here, Abner. Take the receiver and listen to Sister Simpson for a while. I got a lot of other work to do.
Well, I don't know what to say to her.
Oh, just say anything. It don't matter no way. She'll do all the talking.
Well, I don't want to listen, Mom. Now, just let the receiver hang her. She'll run down after a while.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So drop it.
Hope she gets through talking pretty soon, though, because I got a lot of important calls to make.
Importance calls? What for?
Well, for the premiere.
Oh.
I'm appointing all the committees this morning so they can get started on all the arrangements for everything. There's a heap of work that's got to be did before Friday night.
Yeah, I reckon so. Well, who's on the committees?
Well, I got Mose Mooch down for ticket sales.
Mose, huh?
Yeah, I figure he can sell a lot of them right there in the barber shop.
That's a good idea.
I'm putting Luke Spears in charge of refreshments. He can get them out of his restaurant, of course.
Yeah. We're going to have refreshments at the movies?
Well, sure. It's a big affair, Abner. Don't forget that. And we want to do it upright and make a good impression on all the visitors that'll more than likely come to Pine Ridge for the premiere.
Yeah. Well, where are we going to get the money to pay for all this stuff?
Uh-huh.
Out of that $10,000 Diogenes left for the community?
No, we can't spend none of that for the premiere.
Well, why not? It's doing a heap of good for Pine Ridge.
Uh-huh.
What do you keep saying uh-huh for?
Oh, just so Sister Simpson will think I'm still listening.
Oh, well, you ain't.
Well, I know, but she don't know the difference. She does all the talking anyway.
Oh. Well, Lum, this premiere's going to help Pine Ridge. All the stores will do more business when the visitors is here, and everybody get a lot of enjoyment out of it.
I know, but it wouldn't look right, Abner, me and you both being in the picture and all. No, we got to find some other way to raise the money.
Well, how are we going to do it?
I don't know. I'm going to leave that up to Squire Skimp.
Squire, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to appoint him head of the financing committee as soon as I can get hold of him.
Yeah.
Just a minute. I better see if Sister Simpson's through talking yet.
Well, if she is, she must not be feeling well today.
Uh-huh.
Hope they are.
Yeah, that sounds good, Sister Simpson. Uh-huh. Well, either red or blue, I don't care.
There we go.
Uh-huh. She's still going strong as ever.
Yeah, well, who else is on the committees, Lum? Am I on any of them?
Oh, yeah. Got you down here for... Oh, yeah, you're the head ticket taker.
Ticket taker?
Yeah, you stand right there at the door and take the tickets as the folks go into the theater, or schoolhouse.
Well, good for me.
If you want to, you can wear my air raid warden cap.
Can I?
Yeah, you can just paste a piece of paper across the front saying ticket taker on it.
Well, good for me. Wonderful.
I know you'd enjoy
that.
Yeah. I'm going to put Cedric in charge of getting some big lights to put out in front of the place.
Reckon I ought to borrow Grandpappy Spears' old band uniform and wear that, too?
Yeah, you could.
That's fancy.
What we ought to have is them great big lights that shines way up in the skies. That's the kind they use out there in Hollywood.
Yes, huh?
But I don't know where we can get none of them.
No, me neither.
Of course, Cedric could drive his car up in front of the school and shoot his searchlight up in the air. That'll help a little.
That doggy little Pearl will be tickled to death to see me standing there taking tickets.
Maybe Cedric will have an idea where we can get some of them big lights.
He might.
And let's see. Oh, yeah, head usher. I ain't got nobody for that yet. Who do you reckon would make a good head usher, Abner?
Let's see. How about Mousy Gray?
Well, no, I already got him out working on something else.
On what?
No, I forget now. Just some little old thing.
Well, what is it?
I don't know. Pick up the receiver, Abner, and see if Sister Simpson's through yet.
Well, all right. I wish you'd tell me, though, what it is now. Uh-huh. Yes, Sister Simpson, that'll look pretty. Uh-huh. Get red streamers will be fine. Or blue. Well, either red or blue. All right, blue then. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. She's telling how she's going to decorate the stage now.
I don't know. Maybe it was a mistake painting her head decorator.
Well, you'd have an awful fight on your hands if you didn't. She ain't never let nobody else be head of no decorating committee for anything that's took place in Pine Ridge as long as I can recollect.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Oh, yeah, she's a decorator.
Well, she'd hurry and get off the phone so as I can get the rest of the committee to pine.
Yeah, you got a heap of a pinting to do, too, you know it? Say, I just thought of something here, Lum. Ain't you going to pint yourself to some committee?
No, I don't believe so, Abner.
Well, now, you got just as much right as the rest of us to be on something, Lum. We don't want to hog all the important job.
No, I'm proud to see you get 'em, Abner. You deserve to get something good out of this premier.
Well, so do you. Yeah, you're in the picture, too.
Yeah, I know, but I'm willing to sit back and let others take the glory.
Oh, now, Lum.
Besides, I figure somebody will have to be free to ride in the parade.
Parade? Is there going to be a parade?
Oh, yeah, just a little one.
Huh?
Up Main Street and over to the schoolhouse just before the show. Won't be much to it.
Well, Lum, I'd like to get in that parade.
Uh-huh.
And so will Cedric and Squire. Don't forget, they're both in the picture, too.
Yeah, I know, but Squire will be awful busy counting money and taking care of the finances. And Cedric will have to be on the job handling them big lights.
Yeah.
Of course, you'll have your hands full taking tickets. So it looks like I'll just have to ride in the parade for all you fellas.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I wonder where I can get a bunch of old telephone books.
Telephone books?
Yeah, we'll need some for the folks at the parade to tear up in little bitty pieces and throw 'em at me as I ride by.
Throw 'em at you?
Well, I mean little pieces, not the whole book.
Oh.
See, they can get up on the roof of some of the store buildings and throw the little pieces of paper down on me like confettis. Makes an impressive thing out of it.
Yeah, say, Lum, I believe we better get somebody else for a ticket taker. I don't believe I'd be much good at that.
Yes, you will now. You're just the man for the job, Abner. I've got to get me a fountain pen, too, so I can sign all them autographs for the folks.
Autographs?
Yeah, I'll more than likely be swamped. Everybody'll be crowding around me asking me for my autograph. All my fans will be there, of course.
Well, now, Lum, I know I can't be the ticket taker then, 'cause I'll have to be signing autographs, too.
No, I doubt if they'll ask you, Abner.
Huh?
I'm the one they'll ask for autographs. I know that.
Well, why will they want yours and they won't want mine?
Abner, listen.
Huh?
I know what I'm doing. Now, you just leave this arrangement up to me.
Well, all right, but I still believe that I ought to be there signing autographs. I can't take tickets, I'll tell you that.
Pick up the receiver again, see if Sister Simpson's done talking yet.
Well, why don't you listen? It's your phone call.
It ain't importance enough for me to handle. Now, go ahead.
All right, Dad, blame it. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a good idea, Sister Simpson. Uh-huh. Well, whatever you say, either blue or red. Uh-huh. She's up to the rafters.
Wonderful world, Mr. Long, Mr. Abner.
Oh, Cedric, doggies, you always have to scare a fella when you come in the store.
I seen him coming in.
Well, I never meant to scare nobody. I just want to get some paper to write my name on.
Write your name?
Yes, Mom. Look, I already got my pockets full of slips of paper with my name wrote on them. But I'll need a lot more, though.
Well, what in the world's them for, Cedric?
Them's for autographs. I'm going to give them out the night of the premiere.
Well, just a minute, Cedric. What makes you think anybody'll ask you for your autograph?
Oh, I know they will. Already got a whole list of them here.
Well?
Clarence Blevin, Shorty Bates, and Skinny Foster, and Arnold McGuire, and Frank Clancy, and Gomer Bates.
Well, how do you know they'll ask you, Cedric?
Because I paid them all 15 cents for it.
15 cents? Why, Cedric, you oughtn't to do a thing like that. That's almost like cheating or something, ain't it, Lum?
Why, of course it is. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Cedric.
Yeah, you better go back to every one of them young'uns and get your money back, Cedric.
Gosh, I worked awful hard getting all these, and... Wait a minute, there comes Mousy. I ain't got him yet.
Oh.
Well, now, don't bring up the subject around Mousy, Cedric. Don't let him know that you've been doing that, so.
No, you just forget that idea, Cedric.
I worked awful hard, though.
Well, just keep quiet now, Cedric. Well, howdy, Mousie.
Yeah, howdy, Mousie. I'm sorry I won't be able to talk business with you right now, Mousie.
You won't? Well, gee, I really think I ought to make a report on my activities to you right now, Lum.
Some other time, Mousie. We'll see you later.
Yes, sir, but, Lum, it's not going well at all. I don't think you'll get many fans unless you raise your price. Cedric has already offered everyone 15 cents.
Mom?
Just a minute. Just a minute here. Lum Edwards, did you send Mousie out to get youngers to ask for
Stand
your
aside,
autograph?
Abner. Let me get to that phone. I got an important call on here. I forgot.
Now, Lum, you answer me now.
Hey, shut up, Abner. I can't hear a word she's saying. Uh-huh.
Oh, my.
Yes, Sister Sampson. That'll look something wonderful. Yes, Mom. Uh-huh. Yeah, blue sounds good. Yeah, red's good, too.
Well, we noticed that Cedric got the better of Lum that time, didn't he?
April 6, 1942, Lum and Abner on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Thank this station. Support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you here. Visit TedRadioMemories.com for all of his fine shows available on cassette, CD, or flash drive for your computer. Visit our webpage, classicradio.stream. Stream our shows, learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can buy me a coffee to help support our shows. classicradio.stream. Thanks for tuning in. Tell all your friends the greatest radio shows of all time are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.